Hey everyone, ready to dive into the world of AI?
Always ready.
We've got a really interesting mix of articles and excerpts you sent in for this deep dive. History of AI, AI in art, even some sci-fi in the mix.
Yeah, sounds like someone's been doing their homework.
Uh-huh, maybe just a little bit. But seriously, it seems like you want to get past just the definition of AI and really figure out what it all means,
Mhm.
like for us humans.
It's a huge question, right?
Like, oh,
One that a lot of people are asking right now, and rightfully so.
definitely. So how about we start there
Okay.
with like a definition of AI that we can all wrap our heads around?
Absolutely. At its core, AI is really about building machines that can do things that, at least right now, we think of as requiring human intelligence. So
Mhm.
we're talking about things like learning, problem solving, even creativity.
Okay, so like when Spotify seems to read my mind and suggest the perfect song,
Yeah.
that's AI at work.
Exactly.
Right.
Or those customer service chatbots that you come across online
Right, right.
that sometimes feel a little too human.
Yeah. They're getting good,
That's AI. It's already all around us, even if we don't realize it.
which is kind of mind-blowing when you think about how AI isn't exactly new. Like this article, Telos 123,
Mm-hmm.
mentions Alan Turing
Yeah.
from back in the 1950s.
Turing's work was foundational to this whole field, really. I mean, here he was asking these profound questions about the possibility of machine intelligence, way back when computers were still in their infancy. It's really remarkable.
The 1950s. I mean, talk about ahead of his time. It's amazing to think he was already onto this back then. It makes me think, though, AI, it's more than just like lines of code, right?
Right.
It got this cultural impact, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that whole two tribes idea from Telos 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
This clash between the language of machines and the language of humans. Do you think it's part of why AI feels so, I don't know, important right now?
That's a really astute observation, I think. For AI to really reach its full potential, it needs to be able to interact with us on our terms,
Sure.
using our languages, understanding our nuances. And we're actually seeing that happen more and more these days, especially with these generative AI tools.
So instead of having to learn how to code or program, we can just talk to AI.
Yeah.
Like it's another person.
In a way, yeah.
Whoa.
You can literally tell an AI image generator, hey, I want a picture of a cat wearing a hat.
Yeah.
And it'll create it for you.
What?
It's pretty amazing.
That is wild. I mean, no more trying to decipher cryptic error messages or anything like that. Although, speaking of art, this Smart Machines article
Yeah.
really caught my eye. It mentioned this software called Aaron
Aaron.
from, get this, the 1970s.
Wow.
That could actually make art.
That's right.
I mean, what?
Yeah, Aaron is a classic example of how AI and art have been intertwined for decades now.
Really?
It's a really fascinating program that really forces us to ask some big questions about what it means to be creative and what it means to be an artist.
Right. If a machine can paint a picture or even compose a symphony, I mean, what does that even mean for human artists?
That's where things get really interesting. This other article you shared, The End of Human Creativity, really digs into that. It even talks about this legal case where the definition of authorship was debated in the context of AI-generated art.
Seriously, a legal battle over AI art. Okay, this is already getting juicy, but let's shift gears for just a sec. What about the whole robots are taking our jobs thing?
Mm-hmm.
Because I gotta say, I'm getting some serious Luddite vibes.
I mean, it's a valid fear, right?
Like,
It's understandable why people are anxious about this, but this piece, History of Humans and Algorithms, offers a slightly different perspective, I think. It reminds us that throughout history, new tech has always come along. And with that, yeah, some jobs have changed or even disappeared, but
There's always a but.
there's always a but. New opportunities have always emerged, too. Think about the invention of the automobile.
Right.
Displaced carriage makers, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it created a whole new industry around cars, mechanics, designers, engineers, you name it.
That's true.
Right.
So you're saying AI might not be the job-stealing monster we sometimes make it out to be?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
It's more about adaptation. It's about understanding how AI is changing the landscape of work and then adapting our skills and our mindsets to thrive in that new landscape.
I like that, yeah.
The History of Humans and Algorithms piece actually lists several new job categories that have popped up because of AI, like AI ethicist, super interesting, or AI trainers.
AI ethicist.
Yeah.
That's a job title I haven't heard before.
Right.
Although, I gotta admit, the whole killer robots scenario from this artificial yes but intelligence article has crossed my mind a time or two.
Yeah. It's definitely a thought-provoking example. It really highlights that we have to be mindful about the potential consequences of this technology. And it really underlines the need to make sure that the development of AI, it aligns with our values as humans.
Yeah, because if we aren't careful, we can end up creating something we can't control.
Exactly.
Which kind of leads us to another piece you shared. What will make us human?
Oh, I love that article.
This one really gets to the heart of it, don't you think?
It really does.
If AI can make art, compose music, I mean, maybe even make life or death decisions one day, then what makes us special?
Right.
What makes us human in the age of AI?
Such a big question.
I know.
I mean, philosophers have been wrestling with that since forever, but AI is definitely bringing a whole new sense of urgency to it. And I think that article you mentioned, What Will Make Us Human, that one really gets to the heart of it with this idea of human specificity.
Human specificity?
Yeah, like what are those qualities that set us apart from even the most advanced machines?
Okay, so what are they? What can humans do that AI, at least for now, can't?
Well, the article highlights some really interesting things,
Okay.
like consciousness, that subjective experience of the world, and then things like our capacity for emotions like love, empathy,
Yeah.
even grief.
So those deep, messy, kind of illogical feelings are actually what make us human.
Ah.
I like that. What else?
Well, morality is another big one, our sense of right and wrong. That ability to make ethical judgments. That's something we really haven't figured out how to replicate in AI.
Which is probably for the best, right?
Yeah, I think so.
At least until we can trust AI to make those kind of calls as thoughtfully as we do. Well, at least sometimes.
Exactly. I mean, then there's our capacity for self-reflection, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for asking those big why questions about life, the universe, and everything, as far as we know, AI isn't quite there yet.
And maybe that act of questioning, that search for meaning, is part of what makes us human. It's almost like AI is this mirror,
Interesting.
making us look at ourselves in this totally new way.
I love that. That's a really powerful image, and I think you're right. By trying to create something in our own image, we might actually end up understanding ourselves better than ever before.
Okay, so instead of a robot takeover, maybe AI will lead to some kind of human evolution. Like we'll become more thoughtful, more self-aware, because we're forced to really look at what makes us tick.
It's a fascinating possibility. And, it actually connects to another interesting point in the what will make us human piece. This idea that AI might actually help us to unlock human potential in ways we can't even imagine yet.
Okay, now you're just messing with me. Give me an example. How could AI actually make us better?
Well, imagine if AI could help us to overcome our own biases,
Okay, yeah.
leading to a more just and equitable world, or if it could personalize education,
Yeah.
so that every student can learn in the way that's best for them.
Or if it could help us solve things like climate change or world hunger
Exactly.
by analyzing massive amounts of data. All of a sudden, the possibilities are kind of limitless.
Totally. And on a more individual level, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if AI could help us to be more creative, more compassionate, more in tune with our own emotions.
So it's like instead of fearing AI, we need to be asking, what kind of future can we create with it?
100%. I think that's the question we all need to be thinking about right now. Because
Yeah.
AI isn't some far-off science fiction anymore.
Right.
It's here, and it's evolving rapidly, and it's going to touch every part of our lives.
I have to admit, when we started this whole deep dive thing, I was a little nervous. I had like all those Terminator movies flashing before my eyes.
Yeah.
But honestly, after digging into these articles you sent over, I'm actually feeling kind of optimistic.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
It's like a lot of these articles, I'm thinking about artificial intelligence, a tool to create. They really emphasize that AI, it's just that a tool. It's not good or bad on its own. It's really all about what we make of it.
100%. And, that's where I think our humanness really comes in. We decide how AI gets developed, how it's used, what role it ultimately plays in our future.
So you're saying we shouldn't be afraid of AI. We should be excited about it.
Well, afraid might be a bit strong, but cautious, thoughtful, engaged. Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, AI, it presents these incredible opportunities, but it also really challenges us to think deeply about our values and what kind of world we want to build.
It's almost like we're standing at the very edge of something totally new and we have this chance to shape it.
Weird.
It's kind of daunting, but also incredibly exciting at the same time.
I couldn't agree more. And, it's okay that we don't have all the answers right this second. I think part of this journey is asking the right questions, having these big conversations, being open to new ways of thinking.
Like we're doing right now. This
Yeah.
deep dive, I got to say, it's really shifted my perspective. I came in a little apprehensive about AI, if I'm being honest, but after digging into all this stuff you sent, I'm feeling, I don't know, hopeful maybe.
That's great to hear. You know, it's easy to get caught up in the hype or even the fear-mongering when it comes to AI, but when you
Mm,
really take the time to go deeper, it's actually really exciting.
totally. It's like we're not just creating some technology in a vacuum. We're creating the future. A
Mhm.
future where humans and AI, they exist together. And that future, it could be incredible.
You got it. And it's a future that we all have a hand in shaping.
I like that.
It's a powerful message and hopefully one that our listeners will take to heart.
So no more Terminator scenarios then.
Hmm.
We're thinking more along the lines of AI helping us tackle climate change, cure diseases, maybe even write some amazing poetry along the way.
Now you're talking. The possibilities really are limitless, especially if we approach AI with that same curiosity and creativity and that commitment to using it for good that you're talking about.
Okay, I'm sold. Sign me up for the AI Optimist Club. Seriously, though, this deep dive, it's been eye-opening, thought-provoking, and surprisingly inspiring.
Couldn't agree more. It's been a pleasure exploring all this with you.
Likewise. And on that note, we'll leave you with this final thought. Don't shy away from asking the big questions when it comes to AI. Don't be afraid to imagine those possibilities and get involved. Help shape this incredible technology. The future isn't set in stone. It's up to all of us to make it a good one. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of AI.